final day of the cleanse. How powerful and awesome is that for those who have made it, and how educational for those who are struggling a little. And as we struggle, we become fearful. And what we want to do is break the habit of being fearful. But, you know, glad you could join me. Because fear is a very crippling, or can be a very crippling thing, for sure. Just try and get this set up a little bit. Still using the, I haven't gotten a tripod yet, so you have to bear with me here. Just try to keep that wind down a little. It kind of blocks everybody who's posting. So if I don't say hi in advance for those that join us. So one of the things that doing the cleanse does, it can create fear because you're moving things, you're moving energy in your body, and you're not used to doing that. It is moving constantly, but we are unaware of it. Anytime that we think, we move energy up here. Anytime we do an action, it can just be a simple opening of the hands. This takes energy. Digestion, energy. Breathing takes energy. And we're moving energy constantly. When we run, when we sit, you can't do anything without moving energy. And we are completely unaware of that action. There's also emotional energy, which is what's being used against the world right now. This is a world event. And turning that fear off is job one. So how do we do that? And this has been the past few videos I've been going over this. But we center ourselves. No emotional charge to whatever's going on in the chaotic outside world. We don't need that chaos in our lives. And we don't need to go hide in a cave either. It's our choice, our freedom to be polarized by it or to not be polarized by it, because it is based completely 100% on fear, and fear breaks down your immune system. The chaos is a form of hypnosis that they've been using since the beginning of time. And they have this, what they consider the perfect way to not only put you in fear, but keep you in fear. And nothing could be further from the truth once you understand that that fear is being done on purpose. That's probably the biggest secret of all. It's being cultivated and sculpted by people that have spent their whole lives manipulating people and influencing them to do things that they wouldn't normally do. And I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, and because I really do hesitate putting this out there because I know they're listening. Why do we not see red hazard trash cans everywhere for us to throw our masks in if they're so damn fearful that there's a virus in that mask and that we need to get rid of it? No, they're laying all over the roads, the sidewalks, parking lots. It's crazy. So why and how are they doing this? They have a plan. And they're playing it out on the hearts and minds of the people to create fear. And it's up to us to stop that. Oh, duck going by. I wish I tried to set my camera up so you could see the water here. But I was like in total shadow. So I had to turn it around to get the light on me. So maybe after I'll show you, but it would have been cool to see that duck fly by. Nature is what makes us surrender to our calmness, right? Most of us are stuck in fight or flight. And the more they grip on to the story they're being told, the more fear that is being projected into their hearts and minds. And that's why people avoid us and they don't want us petting their dogs, and they're in total fear. You know, I just saw a thing. I don't post on that crap, but it is worth mentioning or talking about. They're claiming 200,000 people have died right now, when we know that most of that is not from COVID. Because if you die in a plane crash, you died of COVID, right? Well, the actual number months ago was supposed to be 60 million people. And showing us the death count, which is sad, because most of it's being done on purpose. When you take somebody, and you know that the lymphatic system is weak in people, and you put somebody that has it in a nursing home, they've killed thousands and thousands of people like that. It's insane. And everybody's running around in fear because they're afraid that it's going to happen to them. If it wasn't for the media, we wouldn't even know there was an issue. It's a 99 point, you hear 0.234, I even saw 7% recovery rate for people who have it. It's the way they're telling the story. The story is creating the fear that is causing the immune system to get weak. And that's what we are here to change. We are here to understand that this is all being manipulated. That this is just fabricated out of thin air. We need to stop, well, we don't need to stop, but it's a good idea to stop following that if you're going to be magnetically charged to one side or the other, because both sides are selling fear. Both sides are saying they're going to help you. Don't do it, do it. Don't do it, do it. And that chaos and that confusion leaves you with a paralyzed mind in the middle, and you don't know what to do. That's because you're magnetically charged by those. And it's causing chaos in your head and in your body. Because as above, so below. And if the mind is paralyzed, sorry for the camera shaking here, I'm using a selfie stick again. I thought I had it down a little better this time, but as these vibrations enter our body, they affect our physical being. Mentally, physically, and chemically. And that's not something that we should allow in our bodies. We can feel it, we can bring it in, but to get above it, to stand up inside ourselves and realize this side is manipulating me and causing fear. This side is manipulating me and causing fear. Which one's right? Well, no one knows which one's right. So why be polarized by either side? And live in that fear, weakening our immune system. They're having lots of respiratory issues because people are wearing the damn mask. And you know what they're going to blame it on? Yeah. What they're causing the fear to be generated in our hearts and minds, or the hearts and minds of most people. And it doesn't take much to see who they are. All you do is go outside and walk around a little bit. And like I said, if they stop talking about this, tomorrow, within 72 hours, most people would be back, especially if the media said that we don't need to worry about it. It turns out it is less dangerous than the common flu or cold or whatever you want to call it, because those are viruses too. We have 280,000 viruses or more living in our bodies right now. And our body is specifically designed to eliminate viruses that would hurt us. Until our immune system gets so weak that it can't protect us. And that's why here in the MasterCleanse class, we work on boosting the immune system to keep it healthy. So when something comes in, it knows what to do with it. And it eliminates it on its own, by itself, because it's strong. And what they're doing is weakening the immune system and spreading lies about it, half-truths, because it's supposed to be 60 million people are supposed to be dead already. So they emptied out the hospitals. They brought in all these ventilators, respirators, wherever they are. And that's part of what's panicking people. And all these people are dying. Well, they're dying because they're on those things. 9 out of 10 people put on those do not make it. And it's really a more advanced system than the mask. But the mask is doing the same thing. Children are dying. They're having massive complications because there's not enough oxygen going in the blood. And if you check with OSHA, the CDC, and the FDA, masks don't work. I've even seen a mask, it was clear so you could see the person's face. The whole mask is solid plastic. How are you going to breathe through that? We don't need no stinking mask. We need to stand up inside ourselves, or we should. Need is a strong word. And realize we're being sold a bill of goods to make us sick, and then they'll blame it on the thing that they've planned the whole time. And you can see it. You can feel it, actually. So it's good to be the observer and look, be up here looking down on the whole situation, right? And really listening to the words. And if they bring a little fear into your body, reprogram yourself. They're trying to sell fear in my heart and mind. And I will not allow it. I was talking with a guy the other day, I might have mentioned this yesterday, Coot. He said, I will never let willpower determine where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. And I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty weird, because wouldn't that take willpower not to let willpower do that to you? I just thought it was funny. We're so easily manipulated because we've been manipulated our whole lives. It started in school. Now it's preschool, and I think they have a preschool. We've spent our whole lives complaining about the educational system and how they're failing our kids. And now that it's taken away, everybody's fighting because the kids aren't in school. That's the duality. We want our kids in nature. We want them growing plants and building communities and being bonded to each other and nature. Nature is life. And science and what's happening right now is pulling us further and further and further away from nature. It's the microorganisms in the ground that prepare all the things that the plants need for them to survive and thrive. And that's not what's happening. Not in factory farming, that's not happening at all. They're killing the soil and feeding the plants. And that, there's a chemical they're using, atrazine, I think it's called. And it raises testosterone. Geez, we got a low battery already. So I had set up earlier, and all of a sudden all the lawnmower guys started up with the leaf blowers and the lawnmowers and all that stuff, and it was dead quiet when I started, so when I set up, so I had to come down here and do it. It's really important to understand this is a plan. Nothing about this equals a pandemic. Nothing. And my videos may disappear, who knows? Because evidently Facebook is coming up with their new rules, right? And you will be either punished or you have your site taken away for the words you speak. It's the digital version of book burning. There's information they want out there. Just like when you went to school and you had a book, right? You learned what was in that book. Well, who wrote that? Who wrote it and why? There are letters, or a letter, I have a copy of it, when, I think it was a Colonel Powell, he was a head scientist and a colonel in the military. And he wrote a letter to all the universities and all the schools that nothing will be spoken of in the history of America before Christopher Columbus landed in America. So they changed history right there. And they went out and they destroyed everything and lied because they said they had no written words. The Native Americans had no written words. Well, that's not true. They had their own language. They had their own society. And it was thriving till these morons came along and decided that to take the land was the right of the explorer. And to keep the land was not the right of the occupants. So they just started killing them all. But they had to make them out to be savages first. And that's what they did. Do you know where the largest pyramid in the world is? Illinois. It's called the Monk Mound. Look it up. It's the largest pyramid in the world. And it's right here in America. There is tons of history before Creepy Chris came here and said he discovered America. He landed on a piece of soil that was already occupied. But the lies that have come from that to gain control of the people and their hearts and minds, and to create schools to control the hearts and minds of the people and make us think that we're smart, that we're brilliant, that we're the only ones in the world that have a clue. It's not true. It never was true. Standing up inside ourselves will help us understand that. A bunch of geese flying over. Getting low battery again here. So I'm probably going to have to leave here in a few minutes. But it's so interesting to really know what's going on. Because this happened all over the world. And you know what's going on right now? Same damn thing. In the schools, they will be indoctrinating the kids as they erase history here. They will be indoctrinating the children to a whole new world. If you take a new $20 bill with the head of the president on it, and you fold it so that you see his eyes and his forehead. It's a mask. It looks just like somebody wearing a mask. And you know what else is weird about that? So you're folding it, leaving the bottom so you can see the 20, where it says 20. Well, when you fold that and you see the eyes and the mask, on the bottom it says 2020. How freaky is that? I used to do this thing there. You take a 1, a 5, a 10, a 20, a 50, and a 100. And you fold it so that the back is showing. Like you fold it like an airplane so the back is showing. And you know what you see? You see the Twin Towers standing. Then you see it on fire. Not only was it on fire, but one tower was lower than the other tower as it burned. And you just watched it fall. In the money. Pictures, right? Just like film. You watched it fall, and all that was left was the smoke. That's a fact. I used to do this with people. What I didn't know, I think it was on the back of the 20, it might have been the 10. You flip it over, and there's the Pentagon with smoke coming out of it, right dead center. The money tells the story. Now, what the new money is, I don't know, but like I said, you take that 20 and you fold it, and maybe I'll do that. I don't have a 20 on me, so you just fold that, and that president, his face is upside down, but it's perfect set of eyes and a mask. And it says 2020 right on it. And when did it all happen? 2020. This is no accident that this is happening. This is endgame of this world and the new beginning of the next world. And that's what they're after. And they need to create fear in us to weaken our immune system so they can do what they want. And I say, to hell with them. Let's build our immune system and take care of business. Because if we don't, we're going to be in trouble. Like I said, I don't think that the vaccines will be mandatory. But I think what they will do is they'll take away your rights, like you can't ride in a cab, you can't rent an apartment, you can't... There's so many things you won't be able to do if you don't get it, that it will force people to go get it. I think that's the actual plan. But if you're living in the country and you're growing your own food and you're doing your own thing and you have a tight community, who cares? That's the way it used to be. Matter of fact, I think it was in Huxley's book, Brave New World. And it could have been George Orwell's book. I think it was 1984 or 5. If somebody knows, you can put it in the thing, or I'll do it when I get home. So what happens is they take these people and they have these places where they grow organs to replace for people who have organ damage, right? But they take these people out in these, I don't know if they're trains or flying cars, I can't remember that part. But there are people out there living like the Native Americans lived, and they're dirty, and they show them to keep them in the system. Well, that's what's happened to the middle class. That's the only reason we see homeless people. It's to keep you supporting the 1% by being fearful that you'll lose your job. Oh, you don't want to rock the boat, better not ask for a raise. You know, you could lose your job, and then what are you going to do? Well, I'll tell you, if you lose your job, whether it's your fault or not, what you're going to do is you're going to go back to school and be reprogrammed for something else by the people that programmed you to do the first one. It's time we break that. Step into our own power. We are infinite beings in an infinite universe with infinite potential, who have been dumbed down so much that we don't even know how powerful we are. And that is about to change. Because once this clears itself and we go into the new world, peace will be there. But we have to go through a storm first. This is like an electrical storm. And we are part of the resistance. We are part of the electrical storm because we're not accepting it. They're trying to push it on us and we are pushing back. And so are the political parties. Everybody's in this electrical storm right now. And the only ones that stay out of the storm are the ones who are more likely to survive. By strengthening your immune system, by getting clarity, working the body, doing the breath work, doing the qigong, getting rid of the stress and anxiety that lives up here, and get to rest, relaxation, turning off that sympathetic and turning on the parasympathetic. And that's what yesterday's video was about. So if you want to go back and watch that, I show you how to turn off the sympathetic, fight or flight, and turn on the parasympathetic, rest, digest, and heal. Right now, they're standing on most people's sympathetic nerve, and they're jumping up and down on it, and people are going crazy because there's no relief. The relief comes from us when we decide enough is enough. And the longer it goes on, the more people are waking up, but also the deeper into the fear people are getting. And it's causing a lot of conflict. That artisan that raises estrogen, as estrogen goes up in the male body, testosterone goes down. And people get angry, they get bitchy, they fight, they bicker. And it's a natural thing. That artisan is a chemical that you can take a male frog and give it to it, and over time, and not much time, so within its own lifetime, it turns from a male to a female that can reproduce as a female. Soy, full of estrogen. And all your fake meats and stuff are all made out of soy. And they've glorified that and pulled us into that realm to eat this because it's not meat. Meat is dangerous. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's nowhere near as dangerous as soy, and soy is in everything. Hops increases estrogen. So we've been eating this stuff for a long time, and you see it in the hearts and minds of the people because they don't even know who they are anymore. They don't even know what gender they are. And they're fighting back for their right to be who they are. I don't have a problem with that. Because that's your journey through this time frame. But it's being done on purpose. We're being manipulated into that. So everyone who is experiencing that, that's their journey here. That's their role they're playing. We're here to experience one of the greatest transformations in history. And we get to play a part. But if we do it through fear, it doesn't matter what side you're supporting, they're both selling fear. If we do it through fear, we won't stand much of a chance. So do your breath work. Get that abdomen going in and out, waves of energy, and it relaxes. It turns off the sympathetic, which is in your arms and legs for fight or flight. There's no thinking in fight or flight. That's where brain fog comes from. And as you rehydrate and you alkalize your body and you start getting rid of those acids that are driving you crazy and you don't even know they're doing it, all of a sudden your body relaxes. And you can think again. And you can be the observer on top of all this. It's like you're above the cloud. When you're in the cloud, you can't see anything and you're looking for a way out, but you don't know how to get out because nobody is sharing that information with you, or very few. But you get rid of it through proper hydration, nutrition, breath work, grounding to the earth, and getting your thoughts together, controlling the emotions. The emotions that they're playing on purpose to get you to do what they want. And the only reason that we don't have all this crap right now is there's not enough people playing the game for them to put it into play. And the longer it goes, the weirder it's going to get, the more intense it's going to get. And that's why it's so important to learn how to turn off the fight or flight and turn on the rest, digest, and heal. Because as it gets more intense, for some it will be harder to do, and others they will just be centered. So I love you guys. I want you to be safe. Be happy. Don't let them fill you full of fear. It's a story. That's all it is. And if they change their story tomorrow, it would go back to the way it was. Except for those laws. We're going to change those laws back. Because there's many laws that have been put in place. I mean, we may end up with a new monetary system. And how that'll work, I don't know. But I'm sure it will, because you have to remember, it's the masses that are feeding these people. It's the masses that are controlling, that are not controlling the few. The few are controlling the masses right now. And they're all corporations, and they all work on profit. This is one of the other things. Part of this, think about all the people who invested in these vaccines, and all the people who have invested in whatever it is that they're going to make money on, creating this new world. Those shareholders that are invested in that are not making the money that they said they were going to make. Did you ever hear about the morgues so backed up they didn't know what to do? You know, there's just not enough room. You never hear anything from a morgue. And then you hear, well, what about those trailers with all the bodies in it? One time, maybe two, we saw that. And when the people actually opened them up and looked at them, they were empty. And even if they were not empty, there's over 7 billion people, if you believe what they're telling you, around the world, which, by the way, they could all stand in the smallest state in the United States, which is Rhode Island. They could all stand in that one state. That leaves the whole rest of the world empty. So as we're being sold these bill of goods, we have to realize that not everything they're telling us is fact. Most of it, probably 80%, maybe more, is not fact. It's made up. That's like having your history done. And I don't know, because I would never do that. I don't care about that. That's history. I care about right now. But I believe you have to send in a blood sample. So what you're doing is you're paying them to send you a story that may not even be true to get your blood and run a DNA test on it. How's that for freaky? Somebody that I know had it done for their family, and you should have seen their mother's face when the mother found out. And this was about 3 years ago, okay? When the mother found out that she died in 1985. All you need is one misinformational piece on that timeline, and the whole damn thing is a lie. Because we all started supposedly from two people, right? Adam and Eve. And anywhere there is a break along that is not true, the whole thing is a lie. It cannot be accurate. And to think that these guys are smart enough to be accurate is another part of the problem. They're not experts in anything but selling the program that they want the world to follow. So with that, love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. This is day 10. Please continue if you feel like you can. And for those who have done like 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, or just following along, keep following along. I'll keep making videos. And just do 1 32-ounce bottle of the cleanse and do your herbal teas, and your whole life will change. It's amazing. It's so simple. It costs nothing. And that is our power. It reconnects us with our infinite selves. It shows us our infinite potential. The blinders come off, and we can see up here looking down going, oh my God, I was lost in that. I believed that. I took that fear on as truth. Whew. Man, am I glad I'm out of that. It's like it's a bad relationship is what it is. So anyway, love you guys. See you in the next video.